In this lifetime, Darian Gu said he would stay with his childhood sweetheart in the hometown. I didn't hesitate to pack my bags and return to the city. He said he didn't want to start a family before establishing his career. I turned my head and agreed to marry the matchmaker's choice for my parents. Later, he demanded that I find a job for Xiao Qingmai before he would marry me. I, heavily pregnant, accompanied my fiancé to investigate the young people staying in the countryside and unexpectedly met him. That moment, his eyes reddened again, and he asked repeatedly, "Didn't you say you'd wait for me?" Wait, what a joke. I am a proud third-generation Redguard. Why should I wait for a fourth-rate nobody like him? Mom, Dad, I plan to return to the city in a week, and I am willing to marry Brother Fu. There was a clear pause on the other end of the phone, then came an exclamation of surprise. Freya, really, you've truly come to your senses. No longer entangled with that poor boy Darian Gu, you're really willing to return to the city, back to your parents, and get close to Fu Ziheng. I nodded, and I emphasized strongly, Brother Fu is very good, no need to consider further, I am willing to marry him. In my previous life, when I was framed and killed by Darian Gu and her little childhood friend, it was Fu Ziheng who comforted my parents. He was also the one who helped me handle the body and clear the injustice. Moreover, he supported my parents through the latter half of their lives. Such kindness is so great that even bearing him children would hardly be enough to repay it. Moreover, we have a friendship since childhood. Marrying him, I am willing with all my heart. Good, that's good. I'll buy the ticket for you right away, inform the Fu family immediately, and start arranging your marriage at once, in my mother's voice. There was an unmistakable choked sob. My father's sighs also came one after another into my ears. I know, they have always been very worried about me, worried that I would love but not be loved in return, worried that I would suffer losses by Darian Gu's side, worried that I couldn't endure the hardships of the countryside. It was my fault. In my past life, I actually neglected the parents who loved me dearly because of a man. Mom and Dad, from now on I will listen to you well, stay by your side, and be filial to you. In this life, I will definitely be happy, definitely. I've already made it clear to Freya's son that if you can't be transferred to the city, I won't go back with her. She's probably trying to find a way to get you a spot now. I had just returned to the faculty dormitory from the phone booth. Then I heard Darian Gu's tender affection for Li Panna inside the dormitory. Brother Darian, thank you for your trouble. Sister Freya is probably going to argue with you about this again, and you two just made up. Li Panna's eyes were slightly red, looking pitiful. Darian Gu shook his head and comforted her. Your parents passed away early, we grew up together since childhood, and I have long regarded you as my own little sister. It's only right for an older brother to do these things for his sister. Freya should have been more magnanimous. When Li Panna heard the word sister, a trace of loneliness inevitably flashed in her eyes, but soon, her charming appearance returned. If all goes well, we should be going to the city with the educated youth in a week. These days, I should also inform my students and the teachers I work with. Freya's parents are influential, as long as Freya speaks up. Returning to the city shouldn't be a problem. We've been taken care of by everyone here for 3 years. We should inform them, or else it would seem like we're too cold. Li Panna then came up with an idea. She wanted to take advantage of her upcoming birthday in a couple of days to hold a small party, inviting a teacher and a leader from the office for a meal, as a way of showing her gratitude. Darian Gu was very supportive. It's just that I'm a bit short on cash right now. Darian, could you lend me some first? Before Darian Gu could speak, Li Panna tapped her head again. Oh dear. I completely forgot that Darian already gave his salary last month to support students with financial difficulties. This is a bit embarrassing. Darian Gu thought for a moment and said, It's okay, Freya should still have some. I'll ask her to give you some. Li Panna smiled knowingly. Millimeter, thank you. Darian, and sorry to trouble you and Freya again. Darian Gu stroked Li Panna's head, his eyes full of affection. I, on the other hand, entered the female staff dormitory at an inopportune time. Sister Freya, you're back. Li Panna greeted me, but I ignored her. Darian Gu frowned, but unlike the usual times when he blamed me for being impolite, he reached out his hand to me and said, Freya, In a couple of days, Panna's birthday is coming up and we want to hold a birthday party. At the same time, we'll say goodbye to the school leaders and teachers. We don't have enough money. Do you have any extra? I was packing my luggage, my voice cold. No. Darian Gu twisted the corner of his mouth. How could you have none? Didn't you just get paid? I looked up, glancing at him. I spent it, just like you all, spending however you wanted. Darian pressed his lips tightly. Beside me, Lee Panna rolled her eyes and then came over, linking her arm with mine, sweetly saying, Sister Freya, since the three of us are about to return to the city soon, we thought of using my birthday as an excuse to hold a farewell party. It's a way to say goodbye to the colleagues we've worked with for 3 years. Darian and I have given our salaries to those poor students, so we really have to trouble you. Quite interesting. What does it mean to hold a farewell party under the pretext of Lee Panna's birthday? A farewell party is just a farewell party. There's no need to tie it to her birthday, no money to support any poor students, no money but still wants to treat others like a big spender. I responded coldly, actually. It's not troublesome at all. Lee Panna saw me relax and her joy was visible on her face. Since Sister Freya said that the matter of returning to the city should be settled, Darian Gu let out a long sigh. Then I'll go to Joji restaurant later to book a private room. And in the afternoon I'll go to the office to inform the leaders and colleagues, including the three of us. There are about 20 people. 30 yuan should be enough. When Darian Gu said this, he deliberately looked at me, as if asking whether I could come up with 30 yuan. Lee Panna saw that I didn't show much expression and added, among the 20 people, there are a lot of male colleagues, so there will inevitably be drinking and such. 30 yuan might be a bit little, Sister Freya. If it's 60 yuan, everyone might eat better. I nodded along with her words. The smile on her face grew even more uninhibited. Darian Gu felt something was off, but said nothing. I added, since it's a birthday, it would be best to have a cake, don't you think? Darian Gu immediately vetoed. The cake is too expensive. Forget it. Besides, there are no cakes in the countryside. Lee Panna's eyes sparkled with stars. No, Darian, I've never eaten cake in my life. Since Sister Freya said she could help me get a cake, there must be a way. I want to eat it. Darian Gu looked at me with a troubled expression again. I remained calm. Of course there's a way. I have the phone number of a pastry chef from a city cake shop. If I call him, he should be able to deliver one to us. Lee Panna was extremely excited, almost wanting to spin around on the spot, seeing her so happy. Darian Gu didn't even care about how much the cake cost or how much it took to deliver it from the city to the countryside. In the end, as Darian Gu was about to leave the female staff dormitory, he gently said to me, Freya, it feels like you've become much more sensible overnight. I'm very pleased that you treat Panna this way. I'll talk to my mom later and arrange for our parents to meet as soon as possible. I shook my head. No need, he said earnestly. Although my mom doesn't think highly of you, I still hope you can change her opinion of you. I will work hard with you. I chuckled lightly, still not understanding why Darian Gu's disabled, seriously ill, illiterate mother could possibly look down on me. Later, you should also talk to your parents and ask them to keep a low profile in front of my mom. Only then can both families sit down together and have a good talk about our marriage. My parents were old revolutionaries who lived their lives with integrity, never bowing down, so why should they bow to Darian Gu's mother? Came to the office in the afternoon. Darian Gu had already announced the party happening in 2 days to everyone in the office. Everyone had smiles on their faces. Lee Panna also urged me to use the school's public phone booth to call the cake maker in the city. I did not let her down. I contacted the cake maker during the break. I want the largest size, enough for 20 people, with the fanciest frosting decorations possible, include candles and plates, and write, Happy 23rd birthday to Lee Panna on it. Also, include one of those small music boxes that play the birthday song. Deliver it to the Joji state-run restaurant on Sangi Street, Honghu Town. At 6:30 p.m. Just tell the front desk staff, and someone will come out to pick up the cake. Lee Panna listened beside me as I laid out a series of requests to the cake chef, her eyes full of excitement. The phone call ended. Lee Panna grabbed my hand, her eyes red-rimmed. Sister Freya, You are truly wonderful. This birthday party will definitely be perfect, absolutely perfect. I said nothing. Let her be moved by it, Sister Freya, since you married Brother Darian. Could you also introduce me to a good match? The last time I went to your house, does that Brother Fu have a girlfriend? I heard his family has a long military tradition. If there's a chance, I want to see Sister Freya every day. I curled my lips. I don't even know where she gets such audacity. Just then, the class bell rang. Lee Panna and I each went to our respective classrooms. 2 days later, Lee Panna's birthday. She took leave from her supervisor despite it being the critical midterm period for students. She specially went to the county town to buy a dress, had her hair done, and put on makeup. The time was 6:30. A group of us walked out of the school and saw her standing at the restaurant entrance to greet us. Upon seeing the leader, we greeted warmly. You look really beautiful today. Happy birthday. A few thoughtful female colleagues also prepared small gifts for Lee Panna. Lee Panna took the gift and smiled from ear to ear. A group of people marched in grandly. Darian Gu, like the host, called the waiter over to serve the dishes, plates of chicken, duck, fish, and meat, bowls of fresh, hot soup. Everyone was eating with great delight. Lee Panna and Darian Gu took charge of the event. While the others chimed in and followed along to liven up the atmosphere, they celebrated Lee Panna's birthday while announcing to everyone that they would soon be leaving the school. A small private room. The room was filled with the roar of voices. I sat among them, focused only on filling my stomach, waiting to watch the show. Teacher Zhao, sitting next to me, felt indignant on my behalf. You've had so many conflicts with Darian Gu, yet he still gets so close to Lee Panna. Have you given in now? Are you planning to continue this three-way relationship for the rest of your life? I shook my head. Teacher Zhao didn't believe me. This table must have cost at least $100. Lee Panna dresses so flashy every day, spending her entire salary on clothes. She definitely couldn't have paid for this. Darian Gu has a seriously ill mother at home. Even if he supports Lee Panna, it would be hard for him to come up with this $100. So after thinking it over, it can only be you. Can you really tolerate this? Teacher Zhao is a bit older than me. She divorced years ago because her husband cheated. She always sees things between men and women very clearly. She probably didn't want me to get stuck in the mire like she did, which is why she said those things to me. I laughed. Don't worry, I'm not that stupid. Teacher Zhao raised an eyebrow. You're not stupid. It was already tough bringing a Darian Gu back to the city, and now you've dragged in a Lee Panna. I don't even know if your parents have gone to the relevant authorities to kowtow for you. I whispered. No, I'm not that unfilial. Lee Panna can't go to the city, and of course, Darian Gu can't either. Teacher Zhao was taken aback, and just then the waiter pushed the door open and came in. Who ordered the cake from the city? The baker is waiting outside. Lee Panna heard this and got excited. It's me. I'll go get the cake and share it with everyone. Cake was a rare treat. Among those seated, few had ever tasted it. Upon hearing there was cake, everyone's eyes lit up. Amazing, I get to have some meat now. And I can even eat cake. I've never seen real cake in my life. What a blessing. I'll eat a little less later and bring a piece back for my kid. She's been nagging to have some. The waiter had never seen such a cake before. After hearing this, he couldn't help but join in. This cake is huge. Not to mention you can't finish it all. Even if you do, there will be plenty left for each of you to take a piece home. Such a big cake. That must be really expensive, right? Panna's birthday is really something to show off. Lee Panna happily stepped out of the private room. Darian Gu followed and said, the cake is too big. I guess Panna can't carry it alone. I'll go help. The protagonist left. The atmosphere in the private room also eased. Teacher Zhao glanced at me, her eyes lingering with unspoken meaning. Not long after, Darian Gu came back, walked over to me and whispered, Freya, can you come out for a moment? The cake chef said the person who ordered the cake needs to sign. I sat in my seat, motionless. Isn't the cake ordered by Lee Panna? She can just sign. Darian Gu's face looked a bit unpleasant. Didn't you call to order that cake? The baker is still outside waiting. Don't delay. Come out quickly. I hummed softly. I did make the call, but it was Lee Panna who ordered the cake. Isn't it a bit inappropriate for me to sign this? Darian Gu pressed his lips tightly. Lee Panna also came in, looking pale. Sister Freya, come out quickly, sign the paper and bring the cake in so everyone can share it. It's rare for us to gather like this. I sat firmly on the stool and replied, yeah. Hurry up and bring the cake in, share it with everyone. No one has had cake yet, and everyone can't wait. Teacher Zhao is a smart person. Suddenly, I understood what was going on. She directly pointed it out. Panna, you wouldn't want Freya to go out and pay for you, would you? Usually, when ordering a cake, payment is made upon delivery, but isn't it your birthday? Why would Freya have to pay? Lee Panna's face instantly drooped to the ground. No, Darian Gu explained to Lee Panna, Freya's son, didn't you promise Panna to give her a birthday cake? Now the cake has arrived, and you're denying it. I pretended to be surprised. I promised to give Lee Panna a cake. A cake costs at least 200 yuan, and my monthly salary is less than 30. Such an expensive cake, how could I possibly afford it? Teacher Zhao raised an eyebrow. Hilarious, inviting someone to eat cake actually means making others pay for it. The expressions of the others also darkened. The cake delivery person, who had been waiting outside for a long time, could no longer wait and came in. He looked displeased. Whose cake is this? Has anyone stepped forward to pay? It's a total of 231 yuan. I drove 2 hours all the way from the city, so don't make me come for nothing. Lee Panna was about to cry, holding my hand and pleading, Sister Freya, we agreed on this, so why are you only saying now that you don't have money? I also looked helpless. I always thought you were rich, but I didn't expect you wanted me to help you buy one. I hurriedly rummaged through my own pocket. I emptied out all the small change and counted it over and over. I only have 3 yuan and 65 cents. I then looked at the others. How about everyone chips in together? Let's first gather enough for 2 cakes, so Panna won't be in a tough spot. It's her birthday. She definitely wants to be happy. I haven't finished speaking yet. Teacher Zhao's sarcastic remarks came out. Who would carry such a huge sum of money when going out? At most, people carry just a few yuan. You give 3. I give 3. Together it's only 60 yuan. This cake costs over 200. Who can gather that much money? Besides, even if someone had that money, who would spend it on a cake? Buying a refrigerator or a TV would be more worthwhile than a cake. The others also frowned. Our monthly salary is only 29 yuan and 90 cents. We can't afford a cake that costs over 200. 3 yuan is enough for my whole family to live for a week. I'd rather not eat this cake than scrape together this money. What kind of attitude is that? Even if Freya's son's family is rich, just over 200 yuan isn't something you can spend so casually. How shameless. Lee Panna was left utterly humiliated by everyone's back and forth remarks. She tugged at Darian Gu's sleeve. Brother Darian, this Sister Freya doesn't keep her word. What should I do? Darian Gu vented all his anger on me. Freya's son, do you have to embarrass Panna? If you don't want to buy her a cake, just say so. Now the cake is ordered, and they want the money, you have to pay it. Teacher Zhao looked at Darian Gu. Freya just said, no money. What do you plan to do? Darian Gu glared at me fiercely. Freya's son, if you don't pay this money, we'll break up. Don't ever think about marrying me in this life. I sneered. Break up? Didn't we already break up? When you refused to go back to the city with me, I already took that as a breakup. Darian Gu was stunned. What? I refused to go back to the city with you. Lee Panna also came to her senses and quickly said, no. Darian said that as long as Sister Freya arranges for me to go to the city, Darian will go to the city with you too. I shrugged my hands. The spots to return to the city are very limited. I can't handle this. How? You were talking about going back to the city for so long just now, and you were actually counting on me. I thought you had found another way. Oh dear. This is a big misunderstanding. Looks like your farewell party won't really be a farewell. Darian Gu and Lee Panna both looked a little unsteady on their feet. The others couldn't hold back and started whispering among themselves. I was wondering why Lee Panna and Darian Gu weren't on the next list to return to the city. I thought these two had some serious influence. Hilarious, they expect Freya's son to pay for the cake, and also rely on Freya's son for the city return spots. Looks like these two are vampires. Wait a minute, they're not expecting Freya's son to pay for this meal too, are they? Teacher Zhao laughed, inviting guests but not paying. How interesting. So this is how people can behave. Then, she looked at the waiter. Calculate it, how much is this meal? The waiter's expression tightened, realizing the seriousness of the situation, and hurriedly called the landlady over. The landlady pressed the calculator and rounded off the change, saying, "The food is 59 yuan, the drink 6 to 7 yuan, a total of 126 yuan. Who will pay?" Teacher Zhao reached into his pocket and directly gave 3 yuan to the shopkeeper's wife, saying, "I didn't drink alcohol, let's split this meal evenly, I'll pay my 3 yuan. Please keep it." Shopkeeper's wife. The shopkeeper's wife looked towards the others. Several female teachers who hadn't drunk alcohol quickly handed over 3 yuan as well. The 3 yuan I had placed on the table was taken by Teacher Zhao and given to the shopkeeper's wife. The boss's wife raised her eyelids high. Where are the rest of the people? The group of male teachers who had been drinking were so angry their faces turned red. Each of them started cursing loudly. "Do you even have a clue about inviting people to dinner? You mean I paid for your birthday myself? You mongrel bastard with a mother but no guidance. Being able to connect with Freya's son is a blessing you've earned over several lifetimes, and yet you're messing around with that Li Panna. Li Panna, you filthy slut. How slutty have you become? Damn it, I really want to kill you right now. I absolutely will not give that money. Let Li Panna go sell herself. Pay back the restaurant." The filthy words pierced the ears. A few of us female teachers hurriedly left the private room. Darian Gu couldn't endure such humiliation and simply resorted to violence. The scene instantly descended into chaos. Taking advantage of the moment when the landlady and the waitstaff were trying to break up the fight, Li Panna slipped out of the private room unscathed. But the cake delivery person was still there. He grabbed Li Panna, not letting her go, forcing her to pay. Li Panna said, "I haven't touched this cake either. You can take it back. I don't have money to give you." The delivery man was furious upon hearing this, picked up the unfinished food nearby, and threw it at Li Panna. "No money. How can you eat cake? Are you crazy?" Li Panna looked at her newly bought dress, now stained, and broke down crying, constantly shouting, "It's over, it's over." In his mouth, there was a commotion in the restaurant. The patrol officer heard the noise and came in, taking everyone to the station. After a round of interrogation, Darian Gu needs to compensate the restaurant 200 yuan for the damages caused by smashing. Li Panna and several male teachers will jointly bear 100 yuan for the food and drinks. As for the cake, although it was ordered in Li Panna's name, I made the call, so I have to take half of the responsibility. I gave the delivery person over 100 yuan and took half of the cake and left. The family members of those male teachers came that very night, paid the money, and took them away. Darian Gu and Li Panna had no one to bail them out, so when we left the police station, they were still inside writing their guarantees. Not only is Li Panna finished, but Darian Gu is also done for. Exactly. The blame lies with Li Panna for being so clueless. Several school leaders were invited, and now she's hit a brick wall. Not to mention that these two might be locked up for a few days over a few $100. Just speaking out will definitely cost them their jobs. Teacher Zhao and a few female teachers were eating cake while complaining. Coming out of the police station, I just invited them to a small tea house nearby to share some cake. Since it was their first time eating cake, even though some unpleasant things happened, everyone was quite happy. "Freya, this time you got your revenge. Just make sure not to look back. Yeah, with someone like Darian Gu's temperament, life won't be easy. Go home and let your parents help arrange things. There will definitely be a bunch of talented young men waiting for you to choose from. Then it will be Darian Gu's turn to regret losing such a strong backing like you." I smiled faintly. Maybe it's a relief for Darian Gu too. He can openly and honestly be with Li Panna. Teacher Zhao shook his head. "Do you know why Li Panna is called Li Panna?" "I don't know," Teacher Zhao explained. Panna. The Li family is just hoping for a son. The preference for boys over girls has already poisoned them to the bone, even if Darian Gu and Li Panna have feelings for each other. The Lee parents certainly wouldn't want their daughter to marry a poor guy like Darian Gu. They are waiting for Lee Panna to marry into a wealthy family so that the whole family can rise together. Other teachers also said, these two may seem quite ambiguous, but in reality, neither is willing to give up their prospects and future. Darian Gu won't want Lee Panna, and Lee Panna doesn't think much of Darian Gu, rest assured. These two will probably be tangled up without any official status for a lifetime. Setting aside Darian Gu and Lee Panna, we talked again about many interesting things that happened over the past few years, lighting a pot of tea, accompanied by cake. The reluctant feelings rippled between us. After all, I am about to leave, and there probably won't be any chance to come back either. These 3 years, except for the scumbag couple Darian Gu and Lee Panna, the other colleagues have been very good to me, especially the female colleagues. 3 days later, I boarded the bus back to the city. In my arms were souvenirs given to me by the female teachers. There were hand-knitted scarves and sweet local specialties, of course. The students I taught for 3 years also folded a box of stars and gave it to me. I will keep these forever. They are also a part of my memories. Joy, sweetness, hardship, and sorrow, all brewing within, all youth. The bus was leaving. I waved goodbye to my colleagues. It was such a touching moment. How harmonious it would have been if Darian Gu hadn't suddenly appeared. But of course, Darian Gu not only appeared, he even chased the bus for several blocks. He was shouting my name while telling the bus to wait, but the bus isn't his family's, so why should it wait just because he said so? In the end, the bus started running faster and faster. Darian Gu could no longer keep up. He howled towards the sky, and through the glass and the noisy wind outside, I seemed to hear the words, "Wait for me." But what am I waiting for him for? Perhaps, let him go to hell. Coming out of the station, from afar, I saw Fu Ziheng standing beside the military vehicle. He was impeccably dressed, radiating righteousness. Standing among the crowd, he already stood out like a crane. Regardless of whether they were men, women, young, or old, everyone passing by him would look up to glance at him. I used to have my heart and eyes filled entirely with Darian Gu, so naturally, I overlooked the neighborly older brother who had cared for me since childhood. In terms of family background, Darian Gu doesn't measure up. Compared to looks, Darian Gu doesn't stand a chance. Compared to character, Darian Gu is even worse. So why on earth was I blind before? I gave a self-mocking smile. The luggage in my hand had already been taken by Fu Ziheng. "Freya, little sister, have you been waiting long?" I had originally taken leave, but something came up at the last minute and delayed me. "Please don't blame me." I shook my head. "No, I saw you as soon as I got out of the station. It's not late, just right." He smiled knowingly, his cheeks slightly flushed. Showing a hint of shyness, "Uncle and Aunt told me you were coming back to marry me." At first, I didn't believe it. Even when my parents took me to your house with the betrothal gifts, my heart still wasn't at ease, afraid that you were just acting on a whim. He straightened his expression and looked at me. "Sister Freya, if marrying me is difficult for you, it's okay, as long as you can be happy." I lifted my head. I saw the faint glimmer of tears flickering in his eyes. "He is always considerate and attentive to me in every way. Do you think you can't give me happiness?" "No, of course not. You just heard that I went to the countryside for a man named Darian Gu, and that I was unwilling to return to the city for him. So you think my happiness isn't with you? Or do you despise me for having dated someone else?" "No, absolutely not." He grew nervous. And for a moment, his words got tangled. It reminded me of the scene in my past life when I was framed by Lee Panna, disgraced, and thrown into a pig cage, and he traveled thousands of miles to testify for me and clear my name. I took a deep breath and reached out to wrap my arms around his strong waist. "Brother Fu, if you don't like me, we can cancel the engagement. But if you do like me, please don't say things about pushing me away anymore, okay?" His body stiffened for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice trembled slightly. I would never push Sister Freya away. I promise." 1 week later, Fu Ziheng and I got engaged. 3 months later, we got married, even though the Fu family had already vacated the new house for Fu Ziheng and me. And to make our little couple live comfortably, The elders of the Fu family specially prepared a set of wedding rooms, but I still chose to live at my parents' house. After all, Fu Ziheng often needs to go on missions. So living at home is more comfortable and allows me to spend more time with my parents. The two elders of the Fu family were very open-minded and had no objections to this. Moreover, we are neighbors. Meeting up is too easy. Fu Ziheng would roll around repeatedly on my bridal bed, saying, "Since I was little, I've had my eye on this bed. I used to dream about rolling around on it. Now it's all good. I've got my wife, and I can lie on the bed whenever I want." I asked him, "Have you had impure thoughts about me for a long time?" He chuckled. I asked again, "Since when was I that old?" He held me and kissed me on the lips. "It's hard to say. Don't say you had feelings for me when I was in elementary school. That's not quite it. You were in elementary school, and I was only in middle school. At that time, I just thought the girl next door was very cute and wanted to protect her. That feeling lasted until you grew up." Probably around the first year of high school, a girl confessed to me and I rejected her. She asked what kind of girl I liked, and the first image that came to my mind was you. My cheeks flushed, took the pillow and hit him. "You're in the first year of high school, and I'm just in the first year of middle school. Even the first year of middle school isn't little anymore. There was a time I deeply regretted not protecting my little treasure well. But luckily, you came back." He held me close, pressing his ear against mine. In a deep breath, our breaths mingled into one. Fu Ziheng was on a mission for a month, and I became pregnant. When he heard the news, he wished he could fly back from the horizon to see me. I told him to work hard and assured him that there were many people at home taking care of me, so he didn't need to worry. But he cried, like a child, I'm sorry. I couldn't be by your side when you were pregnant, and I might not be able to be with you when you give birth. Thinking about you having to endure pain and sleepless nights because of this child, and me being unable to help, I'm sorry. From now on, I will be careful and attentive, and I will never let you suffer." Later, I heard it from the two elders of the Fu family. Ziheng is a sincere child. He feels that having chosen this profession, he does not deserve to have love. It was only after you rejected him that he joined the army. Later, when you changed your mind, he was once torn. He knows all too well what this profession would make the other half endure, but he couldn't bear to let you go. He once felt he was being excessively selfish. After hearing this, my heart was shaken and could not calm down for a long time, and as I gradually began to miss my husband, the father of my child, my emotions underwent many different changes. I write letters to him. I call him whenever I have time. I want him to know, when he is working on the front lines, that I stand firmly behind him. I also want him to know that he has deeply taken root in my heart. What made him understand even more was to protect himself and cherish life. I will always be waiting for him to come back. 9 months of pregnancy. My belly was already very big. But when I heard that Fu Ziheng's camp this time was in Honghu town, less than 3 hours drive from me, I couldn't wait to get on the bus to visit him. 3 hours of bumpy travel. Beyond the discomfort, there was more joy. He stood at the entrance of Honghu town, from afar, just like a pine tree. The biting winter wind did not make him shrink back in the slightest. Wait for me to get off the car. His eyes were red, and when he spoke, his voice was choked with sobs. "Are you tired? Feeling car sick?" I shook my head, not knowing why tears suddenly welled up and fell. I was clearly very happy, so why was I crying? He draped his coat over me and quickly helped me into the military truck, heading straight to the camp. A 10-minute walk. His tears soaked his collar. "Last time I came back, your belly was still flat. I haven't seen you for a few months, and now your belly is already so big. Wife, you've suffered." Seeing him look like a child, I couldn't help but laugh and cry. But this feeling of being cared for and cherished by him was very warm and heartwarming. This afternoon, I have to go to the school in Honghu town. A batch of supplies was sent from above. Specifically for the young people sent to the countryside here. We've been assigned to escort them. Do you want to come? Fu Ziheng had often heard me ramble about my old colleagues and students in Honghu town. Naturally, he knew I missed them very much. He also told me that Darian Gu was at the school. He was worried I might feel awkward, so he left it up to me to decide. I didn't hesitate. What is there for me to be embarrassed about? I'm doing so well now, if anyone should be embarrassed. It should be him. So, in the afternoon, I followed Fu Ziheng's car to school. My old colleagues all looked at me with expressions of utter shock. It's only been a short time since we last met. And your belly is already this big. Oh my God, I heard you got married as soon as you went back. At first, I didn't believe it, but now I have no choice but to believe it. The one who just helped you get out of the car must be your husband. So handsome. Oh my, how do you have such good taste? Teacher Zhao joked with the other teachers, worried that I might freeze outside, and then pulled me into the office. I hesitated for a moment before entering the office. Teacher Zhao knew what I was worried about and quickly said, "Don't worry, Darian Gu and Li Panna were long ago expelled from the school. They definitely won't be sitting in this office." Then, they started talking about these two people. Darian Gu hit a school official that time, and after getting out of the police station, he lost his job. After that, he looked for work everywhere, but no one would hire him. In the end, the principal took pity on him and let him work in the school kitchen. He worked there for a whole year, always hoping to become a teacher again. So he worked hard for the leadership like a beast of burden. Darian Gu had always longed for a chance to return to the city, so he saved his salary, hoping to bribe the school leadership. The school leaders didn't care about his little money at all and instead encouraged him to send Li Panna away. He actually listened. At that time, Li Panna was already dating a local young master with some background and was about to enter the marriage hall. As a result, Li Panna was tricked by Darian Gu. Li Panna was furious and demanded compensation from Darian Gu. Darian Gu promised that as long as he returned to the city and won her back, he would give Li Panna plenty of money and also promised to introduce her to a better match, so she could marry into a wealthy family. Li Panna was also foolish. After breaking up with her boyfriend, she openly started currying favor with the school leadership. But a year passed, Darian Gu also couldn't return to the city. Li Panna was beaten 3 times on the street by the school leader's original wife. Li Panna knew her reputation was ruined and demanded Darian Gu marry her. But Darian Gu didn't care for her at all. After all the entanglements, Li Panna became pregnant, but no one knew whose child it was. Darian Gu wanted to take Li Panna to have an abortion. Li Panna's parents suddenly found out about this and all came over from their hometown, a group of them pressuring Darian Gu to pay money and marry her. Darian Gu has given all his salary from the past year to Li Panna's parents, and even signed an IOU for several thousand yuan as betrothal money. Now no one knows what's going on. I heard Li Panna went to do that kind of work, and Darian Gu is still working in the school kitchen. The two live together without any official status. It's quite messy. Just as they were talking, Darian Gu, dressed in janitor clothes, walked in from outside the door. He came to find the school leadership to get a signature for his salary. No sooner had he spoken than he saw me being surrounded by the crowd. Immediately, his eyes welled up with tears. "Freya." I curled my lips and didn't respond to him at all, but he took a few quick steps forward, and Teacher Zhao shielded me behind him. "Darian Gu, what do you want to do? We Freya girls are military wives, and her husband is an officer. Don't even think about things you can't have." Darian Gu stared at me foolishly. You're married." Following along, she also noticed that my stomach had already drawn in. "Didn't we agree that you'd wait for me? Why didn't you wait for me?" His tears fell. No matter how I look at it, it's disgusting. It was also at this moment. Fu Ziheng finished his business and came to the office. Seeing the situation, he walked straight towards me. "Freya, I just asked for leave from the team. We can go home now." He looked gentle. Washing my eyes in time, I immediately met him halfway. "Millimeter. Okay." He took my hand and politely said goodbye to Teacher Zhao and the others. "Wait, Freya, I still have something to tell you," Darian Gu called out to me. Fu Ziheng frowned slightly, standing protectively behind me. "What do you need to say to Freya?" The two stood together. Fu Ziheng was a head taller than Darian Gu. The oppressive presence of the military uniform made him hesitate to speak. Fu Ziheng curled his lips slightly. "If there's nothing to say to my wife, we'll be leaving now. The mansion at No. 56 Xiangzhang Road, Ningzhou, is where Freya and I live. If you have any matters, you're welcome to visit Freya anytime." Having said that, Darien Gu's face darkened. Teacher Zhao and the others also exclaimed, "A mansion, her." Fu Ziheng escorted me out of the office and got into the car. Waiting for the car door to close, I couldn't help but tap him. "Isn't no 56 mansion the room assigned by your team leader? Why are you bragging just to annoy others?" He raised an eyebrow, revealing his epaulette. "Just got promoted, haven't had time to tell you yet." "Impressive, right?" I widened my eyes. "Really? What did you do? How did you suddenly become the squad leader?" He curled his lips. "This time I was out for 8 months and earned a first-class merit." I immediately grew worried and searched his body. Sure enough, I felt a hole on his chest. I lifted his clothes and saw the twisted, scarred wound. That moment, my whole body felt hot. "What kind of first-class merit are you talking about? Who asked you to come back with merits? It's not like I meant to earn merits, I was just always prepared, and unintentionally earned them. The house at No. 56 mansion was just allocated. You can choose to live there or not, no need to go if you don't want to." "Hey, honey, don't cry, I'm sorry. I was too busy bragging in front of my rival and didn't think about the consequences." "Honey. Boo-hoo, don't cry, I'm sorry. The baby is still in your belly." I was crying so hard I could barely catch my breath. "What if you die? Will I have to become a widow?" No, when I got shot, all I could think about was you. Just thinking of you. I have to stay alive." He hadn't finished speaking. I suddenly felt a sharp contraction in my stomach. There was no time to cry. I shouted, "Fu Ziheng, go to the hospital. Hurry to the hospital. I am going into labor." Fu Ziheng was startled and quickly told the driver to head to the hospital. This time, it was Fu Ziheng's turn to cry. 5 hours of labor, mother and daughter landed safely. When Fu Ziheng was holding and kissing his daughter, the driver who brought us to the hospital was complaining in front of both our parents. "You all don't know." At first the lady was crying. Her cries made my heart tremble. Then it was Director Fu's turn to cry. His sobs almost made my heart jump out. I was driving in sheer terror. It was exhausting. Because of the child's birth, Fu Ziheng had a longer leave this time. But due to the heavy workload, as a key figure, he inevitably had to take on more. As a military wife, naturally, I could only support him. As the children grew up day by day, those young people who had gone to the countryside gradually returned to the city. Teacher Zhao found me as soon as he returned to the city so that we could meet, occasionally, when talking about the past. We also mentioned Darien Gu and Li Panna. It is said that these two people did get their marriage certificate and got married, but their life was not good. They argued every day. Later, over something worth 2 yuan, Darien Gu stabbed Li Panna to death. Because of the severity of the crime, Darien Gu was also arrested and executed. You're still the best, getting married and having children early, with good in-laws, good parents, and an even better husband. Every time we mention you, we can't help but be incredibly envious." I joked. "Teacher Zhao, it's been so long. Do you want me to introduce you to someone?" Teacher Zhao waved his hands repeatedly. No, marriage is a matter of probability. I'm not as lucky as you." After finishing the chat, I asked the driver who had been following Fu Ziheng to send Teacher Zhao back. Later, Teacher Zhao somehow got in touch with that driver, and before long, they rebuilt their family. Although Teacher Zhao had always been very resistant to remarriage, but when fate comes, no matter how much you try to resist, you can't stop it. This is very good. Everyone is very happy.